A man is outside holding a rifle. There is a noise overhead and he lowers his gun before shuddering uncontrollably. A voiceover states that the world is a dangerous place with theft and assault around every corner. John and Claudia are driving through the countryside together. They have been working together at a company called Transitions for 6 months. She reminds him that the car can drive itself, but he doesn't trust it. They finally arrive at their destination and John knocks on the door. They have an appointment with a man named Charles. They are led upstairs to a sick man in a bed. He signs the contract as Claudia leaves to use the restroom where she vomits. Outside, she is confronted by the woman who accuses them of being glorified murderers. Back upstairs, they help Charles to end his life. On their way home, Claudia asks to get out of the car and vomits on the side of the road. As she looks up, she notices a drone nearby, but it flies away. They are surprised as the drones are not supposed to operate at night. They arrive at the hotel, but John decides to go and find a bar before returning to his room. Inside her room, Claudia takes a pregnancy test and is shocked to learn that it is positive. John has actually gone to an old house and knocks on the door. He tries the door and goes inside. The following morning, Claudia finds John waiting for her in the car. She tells him that she didn't sleep. They continue the journey home. John notices a car that has been following them. Finally, they talk. She tells him that she is pregnant with a married man. He tries to reassure her, and although he has something to tell her, he decides not to after all. Claudia returns to her apartment and sits down to watch the news. The report is about the expansion of Vasco. John arrives home and takes some tablets. There is a flickering light, and he goes to investigate. Suddenly, some drones inside his house target him and kill him horrifically. The following morning, Claudia arrives at work where her boss, Jason, tells her that the company is expanding. She is surprised to find that John has not arrived at work yet. She tries calling, but there is no answer. Soon after, she goes to see Jason with the intention of telling him she is pregnant and he is the father, but she finds him in tears. She tries to console him before he tells her about John. He says that he transitioned himself. She doesn't believe it, but nevertheless, Jason rapidly promotes her to fill John's role. She goes to the bathroom to cry, and as she leaves, she meets Tanya, her new partner. They leave for their first appointment, and Claudia drives the car. Tanya reminds her that these cars can drive themselves. While Claudia gets a drink, Tanya is checking details on Claudia's tablet. Claudia is angry as the tablet contains sensitive information. During the drive, the navigation equipment malfunctions, and so Claudia enters a Vasco repair workshop to ask for directions. 4 masked men are repairing some equipment and seem surprised to see her there. A man named Isaiah takes off his mask and gives her the directions she needs. They arrive at their destination, and Claudia asks Tanya if she has passed her initial training course. Tanya confirms this, and Claudia reminds her that if anyone asks why they do this, they are to say it is for the personal satisfaction of helping others. It's not a job. It's not about the money. They knock on the door, and a woman answers. She immediately asks for John and does not seem impressed at the change in personnel. They are taken to see her sick husband, Abner. Their son, Victor, enters and also seems surprised not to see John. Tanya asks if that is Victor's broken drone outside. He confirms that he hit it with a baseball bat as it is evil. He goes on to say that God told him that getting that drone went against God's work in nature, and that's why his father had been struck down with the illness. Victor believes that many people who have these drones have been cursed. Victor's mother scolds him and he leaves, but Claudia follows him outside. They sit together beneath a tree. He shows her a knife that his father gave to him. She reveals to him her father died by making a very terrible decision when she was 12, and she tried to do the same 10 years later. She tells Victor that her father seems to have been there for him, so maybe he should be there for him. Back inside, Claudia explains the process and they begin the transition. Victor volunteers to press the final button, but there seems to be a problem, and Abner starts to convulse. He grabs Claudia by the throat, but soon dies. Outside, Claudia scolds Tanya, as she believes that the mask wasn't tightened properly, causing the problem. Later, they are at a wake. A woman named Joanna arrives to pay her respects. She introduces herself to Claudia as a neighbor and asks after John. She is a past customer. On the way home, Tanya is reading a leaflet from Victor regarding his conspiracy theories about the drones. Claudia notices a black car behind them that she thinks may have been there since they left. They arrive at the hotel. Claudia goes to the restaurant, but when she returns to her room, she finds Tanya is using her tablet again. Claudia is furious and throws her out. The next morning, Claudia drives back to Abner's house alone, only to discover that it has been burnt down. She finds Victor's knife and the remains of his charred body in the ruins. Soon after, Claudia spots the car that was following her and she starts to pursue it. Both cars are nearly hit by a white car traveling on the wrong side of the road, and the black car spins off the road. Claudia runs up to the black car, demanding to know why it is following her, but she discovers that it is driverless. Claudia finds Joanna's house and knocks on the door. There is no answer, so she goes around back. Joanna appears with a shotgun, asking what she wants. Claudia tells her that Victor is dead and that she thinks someone is after her. Once confirming that she hasn't called the police, the two women go inside. Joanna reveals that she spoke with John recently, and he said nice things about Claudia. Suddenly, Claudia feels faint, so Joanna puts her to bed. Joanna is on guard with a rifle when someone arrives. Claudia wakes to voices and goes to listen. She is meeting with Isaiah. Joanna tells Claudia that many farmers and their families across the area were getting sick, and they started comparing notes. Transition employees were also affected. Anyone who spoke out, like Victor, died in tragic circumstances. They go for a drive together to meet a guy named Bud. He explains that they signed a contract with Vasco, and within a year his wife was dead with cancer. Now his daughter Greta has also been diagnosed with the same illness. Bud tells her that he doesn't just get rid of the drone because if he defaults on the payments, then Vasco gets his farm. As they leave, the drones track them. Isaiah explains that the drones control pests by detecting them and agitating water molecules, which fries them from the inside. The new Sentinel drones are being marketed as the farmer's best friend. Joanna explains that they knew that they were responsible for the illness and John found proof. He left a book behind on his last visit with a list of what Claudia recognizes as transition client numbers. She cross-references on her tablet and discovers that all these people own drones, and they now believe that John was being sent to clean up Vasco's mess. Claudia believes that the clients signed up voluntarily, but they were actually assigned to John by Jason. She realizes that John was killed because he discovered the truth. Isaiah tells her that they should go to the Vasco press conference tomorrow and make a scene. The following day at breakfast, Joanna spots a drone outside. She tries to hold it off while the other two escape. The drone activates and kills Joanna. Claudia runs to the woods with the book while Isaiah fetches a rifle and destroys the drone. Another drone has followed Claudia and begins to activate. However, Isaiah arrives just in time and is able to deactivate and then destroy it. He reveals that the device he is holding is a remote control that they use at work to move the drones for repair. However, he warns that it will only work at close range on one drone at a time. They drive off and are pursued by a number of drones overhead. Isaiah uses the remote control to deactivate them one at a time until they leave. They finally arrive at the press conference held by Anna Cook, followed by two drones. Claudia runs through the crowd and suddenly finds Tanya. Jason is also there, but as Claudia is apprehended, she demands to know how he could do this. Meanwhile, Isaiah has lost control of the drones and they start to kill the panicked crowd. Claudia confronts Jason about his actions. Anna tells him that she will handle this and he leaves the room. Anna tries to justify what her company does and dismisses the side effects. Anna leaves to rejoin the press conference, and as she walks out, she witnesses Tanya's death. A drone comes to find Claudia, but she discovers another remote control, and clutching it, she makes her way out of the building. The drone activates, and Claudia starts to shudder. She remembers John telling her to fight for what she wants, and she finds the strength to raise her arm and deactivate the drone. She smashes it to the ground and destroys it. Outside, she finds the survivors and goes to Isaiah, who is still alive in the back of the truck. A news report says that Vasco has paused development of their new drones. Anna Cook is also retired after a handful of their new Sentinel drones malfunctioned. Jason was also sentenced to time in jail for his part in the conspiracy to pressure his customers to take an early exit. A company named StemThrive has acquired Vascro, and Claudia and Isaiah continue to keep an eye on this company. If you want to watch more on movie shortens, click on our next videos and playlist on the screen. Thanks for watching.